So to do that, we're going to clone our project and repeat this with pipes that are attached to it. So if we come up to Clone Project, we'll click on Clone, and let's call this Project 2. And in this case, we're going to select our new configuration. So instead of the short valve, we're going to go to the long valve. And so make sure just that one's selected. And click OK. And you're going to get two warnings here. It says, the settings have been changed. Do you want to reset the computational domain? Well, because it's now longer, yes, we do want to reset. We don't want to just model that shorter valve. And then, yes, we want to start the computational over. We're going to reset the computation. We don't want to use old results. All right, so you can see here now the lid's still out here at the end, and lid's still over here. We still have our boundary conditions defined. We still have the total pressures defined. So we're ready just to go ahead and run with this new model. Again, it's new calculation. Everything else is set up the same. And this time that it's running, we're going to watch for this guy to become colored. And then we can use that to actually preview what's happening. So we'll click on that. And we'll go to, you have to figure out which plane it is, but plane 2 is going to work well here. And now you can actually look at the pressure profile change as it's calculating. Right? So you can see as it continues to change, basically it starts out at an initial pressure, initial guess, and it continues to iterate until it reaches steady state. And you see high pressure upstream, low pressure downstream, right? High pressure drives the flow to lower pressure. And we see the different pressure differences across the partially closed valve here. Right. So it's going to continue iterating here, I believe, close to 100 iterations before it's done. All right, so now we're done, so you can go ahead and close everything up here. All right. If we want to see the results here, we can look at the results and expand that. And the first one here is cut plots. All right, again, if you don't have to look at these. Some of these, I think you actually need to show me a contour for the homework. But we'll get to that point a little bit later where you get the pressure values. But I'll show you some plot creations here first. So if you, under the results, you can insert cut plot. And go ahead and keep it on plane 2. If plane 2 doesn't show up here, just click this box and hit the flyout menu, and then you can select plane 2 from there. And plane 2 shows up, so that's good there. I'll go with contours and vectors. The contours we'll leave as pressure, and just leave those as it is. And actually, let's just change it to velocity here. We'll do velocity in the x direction. And we'll do velocity here for the vectors. And for the vectors, we'll do the spacing. Change that to 0.012. And this is just so it looks better. I mean, these are pretty arbitrarily depending on what you want to see. Arrow size will be 0.02 meters. And go ahead and click OK. All right. And now you should see your contour, right? But it's not there. Oh, we can see a little bit in there. So what happens is the plot's in there, but it's inside of our pipe. So the way to do that is come up here to transparency, and if we just up that to around 75, we can see right through and see our velocity profile through there. Now, again, if you want to get to that face nice and cleanly, we can go to the top face there and see it much better. All right, but look at the vectors here. Hopefully you can see this pretty well. We got vectors moving to the right toward the outlet, but then we have vectors down here into the wall moving back toward the inlet. And this is our vortex that was caught in the short valve case, whereas in the long valve case, if we zoom out here and look toward the end, we can see that all the vectors are now going out the outlet. There's nothing actually circulating down here. So now we have a good outlet conditions, and we can get the actual pressure drop that we have there instead of having basically the velocity changes that would be affecting the pressure result. All right, so it's a nice cut plot that we can view there. Let's do some additional kind of tweaks to this. So what we'll do is we'll come in and right-click on our cut plot. We're going to edit definition. So right-click on our cut plot 1, edit definition. And down here, click on this button here where we have the min and max. We can adjust those. And we'll leave the maximum where it's at. We're going to change the minimum to 2 meters per second. So this means that anything below 2 meters per second is going to look the same as something at 2 meters per second. So go ahead and click OK. And we can see all those smaller arrows get a lot bigger. So basically you can see them a little bit better, a little bit more easy to visualize. Another thing we can do to really look at, where's the flow going toward the inlet, where's the flow going toward the outlet. If we double click on our palette bar, it'll bring up our little dialog here. And we'll change the slider here. Instead of being 10, drop it down to 3. So we basically have two colors, blue and red. And then we'll do the maximum here as 1 meter and the minimum at -1 meter per second. And go ahead and click OK. And now we can see clearly flow going, at least the X component of the flow is going in the positive X direction when it's red and positive or negative X direction when it's blue. All right, so again, just a nice visualization possibility there. If we want to look at something else, we can come back in and double click on the bar again. Instead of doing velocity in the X direction, we'll come down here. Let's go to add parameter and come into loads. And probably won't already be selected. You have to come in here and you can select total pressure. In this case, I'm going to deselect relative pressure, but select total pressure and click OK. And velocity X will still show because that was the last one you selected. But now total pressure should show up. And go ahead and select total pressure. Now we're going to up our levels back up to around 30 or 230. Right, so we get 30 there. And now go ahead and click OK. And now we're looking at the pressure contour. All right, so the color contours are the pressure, and the vectors there are still the velocity vectors. So now you have kind of two pieces of information shown at the same time. So we got this high pressure up here. All right, see a big pressure drop here from, say, orange to green here, from around 113 kilopascals to green, which is 107 kilopascals. And we have this low pressure region in the middle of the vortex where we expect it to be. So it's a lot of information we can see now.